Fear impacts a person. When it comes, it can take over your heart, soul, and mind. But faith is the antidote to fear. Welcome to Mornings with Bishop Robert. Thanks for joining me. Come on in and have a seat with me while we dig into some of the ways that faith impacts our lives. My goal is to introduce people to the Jesus they never knew, and then help them get to know Him and His Word personally and better. So if our time together today speaks to your heart, let me invite you to like, subscribe, and also share this with a friend. You know, fear impacts the brain. It's incredibly powerful. I mean, it can even change the very manner in which the brain processes information. The cortex of our brain typically controls our internal risk assessment, helping us process our surroundings and developing optimal responses. But when faced with overwhelming fear, the cortex is paralyzed, and our logical response is replaced by an emotionally driven fight or flight response. But faith, a truly heartfelt faith that God is the one who's in ultimate control, that sort of faith can act as a sort of internal counterbalance, a faith response rather than a fear response. Changes everything. Today's verse says, "Be strong in your faith." But where can you find a faith that'll make a difference? Well, we're taught that faith comes by hearing the words of Christ. It's Him speaking His word into our hearts. That calms our fears and gives us His guidance and direction. Faith gives insight and direction. As believers in Jesus Christ, we walk by faith, not by sight. That means that we trust Jesus to lead us and that we follow Him, even when the final destination is yet unclear. But our faith empowers us to trust. That trust is critical. God's Word instructs us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and do not lean on our own understanding. This is especially important when overwhelming fear hits because our understanding is impacted. When we determine that in all our ways we will rely upon Him, He will make straight our paths and lead us in them. Faith is the assurance of the things we hope for and the conviction that we will receive even things we cannot yet see. It's like the promise of a faithful bridegroom to his betrothed, that he'll forsake all others, give himself only to her. She has not fully seen his faithfulness displayed, but knows within her heart he can be relied upon to keep his word. Faith gives us wisdom. This is especially important when our cortex is unable to provide clear guidance. The scriptures teach us that if anyone lacks wisdom, they should ask God in faith. And that same promise reminds us that He who gives generously to all will certainly give it. And after the promise comes a reminder, but let him ask in faith. Faith gives us the grace to approach even life and death situations from an eternal perspective. The Apostle Paul to his friends in Galatia wrote, "I have been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself up for me." That's where I want to stand. I want to be able to say with faith, the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God. Because faith gives insight. Faith gives direction. Faith gives assurance. Faith gives wisdom. Faith gives strength. And faith gives us the victory. Faith glorifies Christ, and faith casts out fear. So we can hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, because he who has promised is faithful. And because faith gives us strength, we can be strong in our faith. Hey, that's all the time we've got together this morning. But could I ask you to help me introduce people to the Jesus they never knew, and then help them get to know him and his word personally and better? Would you please like this video? It really does help more people see it. And then click follow or subscribe so you and I can get together every day. If you click the link in the description, you'll get a free copy of my book, Count to One, God's Plan for Christian Unity, that you can download directly to your inbox. Hey, one more thing. Share this with a friend, would you? Because as you do, you're part of the team, touching hearts all over the world with the love of Jesus. Thanks for helping.